prompted you to begin serious contact with a lot of the experienced members of different styles? Was it while you were out at tournaments? Like when did you get to meet like Bill Hayes, George Alexander, Mr. Merriman? When did that contact happen? And when you asked them to come and participate, were they excited about it, or
yeah. Well, initially we all competed against each other. I mean, it was back. You're talking the late '60s, early '70s. It was cutthroat out there. Okay, I mean, Mrs. H was competing against Mr. Merriman many times in the senior divisions in that, and he was one of my kata inspirations. I mean, I still remember if I got fall asleep and have a great karate dream, it's generally Chuck Merriman doing Seiunchin kata, okay, because it was just, I mean, exquisite. I mean, I get goosebumps just thinking about it, even today, okay. It was beautiful how he did that, or Glenn Premu doing Goju Shiho kata, or his, like I said, his Shimabuku no Sai, Mr. Hayes, George Alexander. But at those points in time, we were competitive. It wasn't a we. It was us. It was I against I. Okay. But we respected each other. But we were out there trying to whoop each other, and that was great. I think martial arts in this country matured. So the open tournament really helped back then because we made these connections. Even though it was competitive against each other, we still made these connections that as we grew and became better martial artists ourselves and more comfortable with what we were doing, and started to respect more what others were doing, the differences, and seeing differences as positive rather than negative, I think there was just one of those things if it just happened to be at the right time. And the traditionalists always tended to keep in touch, at least, and we continued to do that, and those lines of contact continued to expand more and more. Originally starting out with just little things like, hey, we have an application from somebody, and they say they used to be with your group. I had no problem calling Mr. Hayes or calling Mr. Mayor, calling Mr. Alexander or anybody, and would say, what can you give me some skimming on this? What's the story? And people didn't think you were doing it because people would try to jump from one organization to another. They didn't realize that all the seniors, we talked. So you'd find out, okay, this is a good person and is leading on good, no problems. Or, I wouldn't touch it. You can do what you want, but I wouldn't touch this person with a 10-foot pole. And here's why. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, and you say, oh, well, that's not what he presented to me, but so you make you aware of those things. And then we started, I think this was WUMOF, World Union Martial Arts Federations. And that got everybody together, and we went around through Europe and Canada and did some tours and did some trainings and things like that. So Mr. Alexander, myself, and Ibera Sensei, and Johnny Bernatsowitz from Belgium, and Mr. Clark from England, Ron Yamanaka, Shintani Sensei from Canada, great gentleman there, and so that really helped as well. And things just evolved, and we started getting comfortable working with each other. And then when we started to bring Oda Sensei over, it was out of courtesy to invite them to come. Initially, we just had Oda Sensei teaching, and then like we had Mr. Merriman here, we had Alexander, we had Hargrove, Frank Hargrove, Robert Teller, things like that, and then it just grew to where, well, let's have some other instructors come in, and Sensei thought that was a great idea. I got a lot of flack initially from many of the Okinawa Kenpo people. How dare I have anybody else there? That's a disgrace to Sensei. It's a slap in the face. Sensei loved it because that's what the old Okinawa Kenpo renmei was. You know, Shimabuku, Uehara, Matayoshi. Okay, everybody getting together, sharing and learning and training and becoming better. He was having a great time, but other people had this on, so they would swap stories and this and that, and it was great, and it just evolved into that. And then when we set up the the OKKF, all the executive board was strictly Okinawa Kenpo members. When I set up the IKKF, I specifically, all the executive board members are, other than myself and Mrs. H, are non-Okinawa Kenpo. They are all heads of major traditional lineages, well known in their fields, not Okinawa Kenpo. And that was purposely done to avoid that incestuous type of thing. Plus, it also provides a quality control, you might say, review board that I have to answer to. So, in structuring our ranking requirements, in structuring teachers' licenses and that, and when we award and how we do it and things like that, you know, I'm getting a good housekeeping seal of all these guys. And they're not going to give it to Shimok doing whatever they want to do. Okay, there's international guidelines and standards that we all adhere to, and I think, you know, I've always been honored and deeply gratified by their support that they have given to our organization and the students, you know, because they're putting their name on our product. And I do the same thing with serving on theirs. And so I think that's one of the beautiful things that has happened as we've matured as martial artists in this country, and it's different from still the way it's going in Europe and the Orient. You don't have this interaction, and we only all gain from that. I mean, I don't see how anybody could not attend some of these sessions and come away and say you're not coming away with something from you know, one of Mr. Hayes's sessions, you know, from Mr. Alexander, from McCarthy, from any of the people that we've been lucky, Mr. Adler, any of the people that we've been lucky to have here over the years. It's sort of a who's who of who are the influential traditional people in the United States. You know, and you guys are extremely lucky to have that opportunity. We, the guys now, didn't, and now we're all, you know, going. So I think that's what I want to see is in the future, is that continue that, to keep all the traditionalists working together, keep the old ways alive, and, you know, be as commercial as we have to be to keep our doors open, but to never compromise the art for commercialism. I know that's going to mean it's always going to be hand in mouth, and almost all of our people are like Mrs. H and I. We have to do full-time jobs in other professions to be able to support our karate habit, you know. And most of us, I'm sure, have the same comments that come from our accountants. What the heck are you doing? You know, don't you realize you're supposed to be making money? You know, how can you keep, you know? But that's a love.